It is a honor and a privilege to be associated with so many distinguished speakers today. I want to tip my hat initially. I see an old friend, Strawn Stevens, there. And Strawn, it's good to be in your company. I chair the National Organization on Disability, and disabled people applaud this way. So I applaud Madame Rajavi, I applaud the distinguished guests, and I applaud the men and women and the patriots at Ashraf 3. The global summit may be, at least to date, unprecedented in its scale and its mission. Think about this for a moment. The organizational creativity and the ingenuity and the technical skills that brought together individuals from over 100 countries at 30,000 locations in support of the NCRI, in support of the patriots at Ashraf, in support of the freedom-loving people of Iran. I don't believe to date that any enterprise or any organization, large or small, government or private sector, has undertaken such an extraordinary effort with such unique and powerful results. One would think that if you take that ingenuity and that creativity, and that commitment to excellence and that positive reach and positive connection globally, if you took that mindset that exists outside of Iran and you relocated it inside Iran, what a different, positive place the country would be at this point, particularly built on the history of Persia, built on the incredible educational capabilities and intellect of the Iranian people. If you take all that and put it on the history and on the foundation of the existing population within Iran, what an incredible place Iran would be and how it would reemerge in the global community as a peace-loving, intellectual leader, not only within the country, but within the region. But unfortunately, the challenge we have before us is that the tentacles of terrorism still reach out from Tehran. This Rouhani and the mullahs and their oppressive society have turned their backs on the people of Iran. I dare say they have probably squandered billions of dollars. As President Bush said back, I think it was in 2002, they were part of the axis of evil, spreading their evil with those tentacles of terrorism throughout the world. And instead of using those dollars that they had at their disposal to enhance the quality of life of citizens of Iran, improve educational opportunities to help people remove themselves from the restraints of poverty, they've used it to continue to export their terrorism and repression around the world. And it is global. Let's make no mistake about it. I'm not sure I can list all the countries, but permit me to start with the countries where their tentacles have reached and influenced. Iraq. There's a hidden occupation of Iran in Iraq. Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, gone as far as Argentina. Lebanon. And I know I'm missing many more, but that's just the point. The mullahs and Rouhani oversee the central bank of terrorism. And what we've discovered over the past several years is that the embassies in many of the countries have become branch banks. And it is within those embassies that logistical support for spies and terrorists are made. It is within those embassies that they stimulate chaos and anti-government activity, and certainly anti-Western activity in other spots around the world. And what we've also learned over the past several years is that appeasement doesn't work. I just completed several books on Churchill, talking about one of the chapters focused on Neville Chamberlain's multiple meetings with Hitler, and his announcement after the final meeting concluded when he returned to London and he said, "Peace is at hand." And we know how appeasement to that rapacious, oppressive individual worked out. Well, we need to learn some lessons from history. Appeasement with the Iranian government will not lead to peace. It never has, appeasement never has, and it never will. And so what we need to do is we need to ask these countries where they've established these embassies to rid themselves of their diplomatic corps, particularly in those countries where we can identify terrorist activity, much of it built and designed to undermine those governments in and of themselves. As we've said during the course of this 3-day summit, it's time for the world to embrace regime change. It's time for the world to recognize that within the NCRI, this incredible organization led by a leader who has been able to generate over the past 15 years that I've been working with this group, global support for her vision and the vision of Iran, a non-nuclear Iran that understands and promotes gender equality, freedom of speech, separation of religion and state. So I say to those who have participated during the past 3 days of this unprecedented summit, for those who continue to publicly, loudly, and consistently proclaim their support for the NCRI and for the freedom-loving people of Iran, that I'm very, very proud to be part of this group that grows larger and more global every year. And I will say finally, when I conclude, to the residents of Ashraf 3, I have followed your history since you worked with the U.S. Army way back when in Iraq, and you've got no greater supporter and someone who loves you more than our mutual friend Wes Martin. So I've heard many stories about your individual acts of bravery and sacrifice. And I've known full well what you've endured at Ashraf 1 and Ashraf 2. And I'm grateful that the people of Albania and the government of Albania has embraced you and given you a place to at least call your temporary home until we meet again in Tehran. But the struggle, the sacrifice, and your commitment, frankly, is an inspiration to all of us who have joined together over the past decade plus to see to it that someday you have the opportunity to return and rebuild on the history and the tradition of the glorious world of Persia, a new and peace-loving Iran. I'm pleased to be on that mission with you, and I plan on staying with you as all those others who participated in this 3-day global summit, to remain with you until we achieve victory and when we'll be dancing together in the streets of Tehran. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with you, grateful for the opportunity to be associated with such a distinguished group of global leaders, parliamentarians, human activists, and thank you for that opportunity. May God bless you on your journey to a free, independent, and non-nuclear Iran. Thank you.